A milestone in recovery efforts after the collapse of the Key Bridge in Baltimore. Dozens of local and federal officials announcing today that the Port of Baltimore and the Fort McHenry Channel are officially back open.
It's been nearly 3 months since the Key Bridge collapsed after being hit by a cargo ship, and that collapse brought traffic in and out of one of America's busiest ports to a standstill.
Our Scott Broom was there as leaders talked about the next steps, which include rebuilding that bridge. He joins us now live with a look at the plan. Hi, Scott.
New bridge potentially up by the end of 2028, but let's talk about this remarkable achievement of getting the channel open and getting the port back open, celebrated today. You got to remember, Leslie, you said 3 months. That's 11 weeks. 11 weeks. A lot of people thought it was going to take 11 months, and many of the people I talked to today used the word miraculous.
The Fort McHenry Channel is fully cleared and the Port of Baltimore is reopened for business.
11 weeks, 50,000 tons of bridge debris moved without an injury. The body of 6 men killed during the collapse recovered, 3,000 longshoremen back to work. And America's largest port for the export and import of vehicles and heavy machinery fully open now as of late yesterday. Maryland Governor Wes Moore thanking, among many, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the U.S. Coast Guard for getting the job done.
And I remember that morning, on March 26th, the only certainty was uncertainty. And many said it would take multiple months for us to get to this point. Some said even up to a year.
Moore and U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg met many of the workers who are now back on the job months before many predicted. The port now expecting nearly 100 big ships in and out by mid-July, and business up to 90% of its usual traffic. Maryland Transportation Secretary Paul Wiedefeld said contractors bidding to rebuild the Key Bridge have bids due by June 24th. The process to put up a new bridge already underway.
We have certain things working in our favor because we had an existing bridge, so a lot of the environmental documentation that you had to do if you were starting from scratch isn't there, right? You don't need that because you've already done it. It's on an existing disturbed space. But you don't have any history of design. It isn't like some projects that we work for years on to get to a stage. This obviously has been 8 weeks, right? So that's a different animal.
Now, Secretary Wiedefeld spent some time with me knocking off the benchmarks, the first of which is going to happen before the end of this month, June 24th, to get bids in from contractors to start this, what they call a design build process to rebuild that new bridge. And he is predicting a new Key Bridge back on the Baltimore skyline by late 28, I guess is the way we'll call it here. In addition to all of that, there was a lot of talk today about who's going to pay for this. Pete Buttigieg from the U.S. Department of Transportation was here. And notably, all the authorities here said they believe they are going to recover the better part of about a third to a half of $1 billion in insurance claims from the owners of that ship that hit the bridge. It was called the Dolly. It's owned in Singapore. And then the U.S. Congress will have to step up and fund the rest of it. But they're fully convinced a lot of money is going to come their way from the shipping business itself, specifically the insurance industry that was covering this ship that hit the bridge here in Baltimore. Reporting live, Scott Broom, WUSA 9 in Baltimore. Back to you.
Yeah, Scott, we were wondering about that, but here's the other question. Has there been any assessment about the environmental impact of this disaster just yet?
Well, there has. It's been remarkable. There were no significant environmental releases during the disaster itself, and there's been a lot of focus on the environment moving forward. You know, all of that bridge debris is going to be recycled. The steel is being cut up on the shore at a place called Trade Point Atlantic near here, and all of that goes to be remanufactured into new steel. A lot of the concrete and other debris no plans firm yet, may be used to build some shoreline protections in this age of climate change and rising sea levels. They use a lot of what they call dredge spoils. That's the stuff they bring up off the bottom when they restore a channel. They use that for restoration projects on shorelines. So an environmental story here as well.
Yeah, reusing some of the very things that came apart, I suppose. That is a very good part of this story.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to late 28, as you said, Scott, for the new bridge, and I'm sure a lot of new safety mechanisms in place as well.
Yeah.
Scott, thank you.